I have never seen a community-based event that has had quite the peak that this event had.
And it all comes down to this, as we always somehow knew it would. Game number 5 of the grand finals of the Canadian Esports Championship Series Spring Masters is about to begin.
They don't care that they have to come into a venue and buy a ticket, whatever. They just show up.
You can think all you want about all these crazy ideas, but until it actually becomes reality, you can't really put it into perspective.
Esports are competitive video games, but they can come from a casual or professional background. In recent years, professional esports teams and groups have become larger and more prevalent, making community-based events more needed than ever. CECS is one such organization, started as an attempt to legitimize non-profit esports and build community around it.
My name is Melanie Penner. I am the CEO of Manitoba Esports Association, and I'm commissioner of the Canadian Esports Championship Series. We're not a professional, or we try to be professional, but we're not a big organization. We're all grassroots, all nonprofit, and the reasoning behind CECS and what we've tried to do is make it very grassroots focused. We're focusing on community.
For an in-person spring event, CECS is running a tournament for Valorant, a popular team-based shooter game that pits 2 teams of 5 players against each other. Teams have a specific objective they must complete to win a round, either as the attacking or defending team. The first team to win 13 rounds wins the match.
We like to put on a show where we have 2 teams that are featured on a stage and people cheering for them. It's a diverse group of people that are being given an opportunity to shine, to be given a platform, and I think it's just kind of not as represented, and we want to represent those folks who are just as important as everybody else.
The esports industry can be broken into 3 tiers. Tier 1 is the professional commercial level, with the largest production budgets, the highest skilled players, and typically the largest audiences. Tier 2 is the college-university level, where schools will enter tournaments and competitions with student players, and university student clubs run the production side. Last is Tier 3, which is the smaller community level, often relying on volunteers to run the show. The tiers scale up by the amount of money involved, not necessarily by the skill level of players nor the size of the audience. Regardless of level, in-person LAN tournaments take months to prepare for and plan, while Tier 1 tournaments have paid staff and Tier 2 events have students. The third tier relies on individuals who volunteer their time.
My name is Dylan Svitan. I am the technical director of the Canadian Esports Championship Series.
Dylan flew from Vancouver to Winnipeg to help assist with the tournament's technical needs.
One thing that in this venue specific is our lighting setup up top, having the whole bar light up here and having different dynamic lights on the left and right. It allows us to have a more traditional show feel to it. We've been at venues where they didn't have this and it felt very much like you're playing in a hotel lobby. And then with the speakers and stuff hanging on the sides of the stage, that really enforces a lot of, when the game sounds come through, you hear a big boom. It really engages the audience. Audio is so important when it comes to a performance. You can have everything visual, but if there's no sound, it doesn't impact you in the same way.
A lot of work goes into making esports events live up to the hype. From the required computing power for the players' computers, to the high-speed internet to minimize lag, The basic infrastructure needed runs up thousands of dollars. This is what an esports event is like on a smaller level. However, the industry is rapidly growing, reporting over $1.44 billion in revenue in 2022.
My name is Wes Rambo, and I used to work for CECS as a volunteer doing broadcast direction, creative direction, and these types of things. But this time I am a freelance caster and host hired to help out with this event.
There's like a team of like 30 people behind me that are really helping make this event happen. It's not just me, it's not just Dylan, it's not just Jasmine, it's not just John, it's a whole slew of people.
I'm just going to read it, and then we're going to get right into the game. Welcome to the West End Cultural Center, home to some of the most legendary performances in the history of Winnipeg. This weekend, it will be home to a kind of performance it has never seen.
It relies a lot on a lot of volunteer work. It relies a lot on inexperienced people doing things for the first time and sort of one person taking on a number of different roles, which obviously is not ideal and sometimes can lead to very, very stressful situations, but it's just the nature of the beast. We have the people we have, so that's kind of how it has to go. One big difference is there is more opportunity for us to choose how we want our event to look and what we want our event to do. Obviously, we've got sponsors who support us, and we have to be beholden to them for certain, aspects of the show. But we don't have a massive corporation being owning our event quite so directly.
Wes notes on how an influx of money in the industry has changed the environment and left the community in the dust.
The thing that you run into is that teams and organizations sink a lot of money into esports groups, esports teams, events.
Larger groups, including companies behind the games themselves, run their own esports teams and competitions at a loss, with the benefit of growing their player base and general exposure to mainstream audiences. This strategy can grow the game, but it is not a moneymaker.
When you look at something like Riot Games, where it looks like a very successful esports project, that's because they use it as an advertisement for their in-game transactions, for their skins for guns or their skins for champions. That is what the LCS and the VCT, that's how they are allowed to continue to operate and have funding. So it's almost like, how do you make money? A lot of people have thought about that question a lot, and a lot of times it has led to really, in my opinion, sucking the soul out of esports.
These large competitions, backed by wealth, cannibalize smaller ones like CECS, as many players look to big teams and leagues as the pinnacle of their favorite game. It also leaves no room for lower-skilled players looking for competitions that they can still enter and participate in.
They are promoting their game to casual players, and it happens to be that esports can draw in a lot of viewers, and advertisers think that's worthwhile. But if you don't have that kind of thing, if you don't have that kind of motive or that kind of incentive, then you will lose money on esports. Everybody knows esports does not make money within itself. Inherently, it does not make money. It always loses money.
Passion for games and community is what makes tournaments and organizations like CECS important for esports going forward.
For someone like me and for a lot of people who are really passionate fans of it, we love it for the same reason somebody loves their favorite sports team or they love to play sports, because it's just really cool with this competitive thing we love to do. It's really cool to get it at this level and really delve so deeply into it and, ignite our passion for it.
We talked already about the 100% pick rate for Killjoy, the most played agent.
Future events are in the works, and the people behind CECS believe there is so much more to come for their group.
I'm feeling quite confident in what's to come next. I'm hoping we're going to be able to do another event. I know we have something definitely planned for November, but again, it's just a lot of sitting down, sorting out what we can and cannot do based on our budgeting.
It's a win for both players and fans wanting to expand the reach of their interest and ensure competitive esports stays within reach for all.
Give it up